Hello, how are you?
I am just Ducky. How are you?
I'm okay, except our house is full of smoke.
Oh dear.
You
Oh,
know, it's one of
bad.
these neighborhoods in the Northwest. Everybody burns their fireplaces when it starts to get cold,
Yeah.
even though you're living in town. So, yeah,
Well,
deal with that.
yeah, yeah. There you go.
I don't know whether Rand's going to join us today. Actually, today is Yom Kippur, so
Oh,
may be involved with that. Apparently.
yeah.
Um, anyway,
Okay.
so I get it may just be the two of us here.
All right.
So um, taking off a little bit on what I was talking about yesterday, what I'd like to do is some relaxation exercises
Okay.
and loosening exercises, and then we'll do the form. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
Just let your hands go. This exercise is a little more difficult to do correctly, and I don't have a cord out here, right? But your hands should stay very soft. There's a tendency, almost everybody does this the opposite way. They harden their hands and then they try to jiggle their body. You do just the opposite. You soften your hands so they're very soft, all right? And yeah, do it from the inside out instead of the outside in. And this one's the same way. Don't stop. Don't do this. Nothing ever stops on either side. Slow, slow. Right? Watch this hand down here. It does not come down and stop. It goes continuously. And the other side continuously. Yes. Yes. And reverse. Continuous. Neither hand ever stops. Yes. Continuous. I'm sure you've heard the old phrase describing Tai Chi. Stand like a mountain, move like a river. A river never stops unless we dam it up, right? So this is about taking the dams out of your own internal energy and just letting things flow. So when you are working on the form, for instance, it's true the speed changes all the time, but you never stop. It may look sometimes from the outside as if you're sort of stopping, but that's not true on the inside because you keep moving. So a movement like this can look as if you were almost stopping. Oh, am I stopping? No, not really. Because inside it's still flowing and then it flows back. It never stops, not even at the point of transition. Because one moment it's going forward and the next moment it's going backward. There's no stopping. It's just forward and back, right? So I wanted to do these exercises, and we're going to look at some exercises and work up a little 10-minute warm-up thing to do every time we do the form. And then when you do the form, keep that attitude, because that's really what you want to play with a little bit in your expression. So let's do the first section of any of the forms, right? Up through, let's do the 24, up through white crane, spreads wings. And just check yourself. Just feel yourself never stopping. It never stops. It doesn't stop. It always keeps moving. So then you have to ask yourself, what is it that breaks that golden thread of movement? Even though the movement is very subtle sometimes, it never stops. The things that come to my mind are when you go too fast. When you speed up, it tends to sort of break things up. Sometimes when you do a little Fajin, put a little power into it, that could also stop it because it tends to stop the mind. So you do a movement like this. And and boom, with that boom you stop. The truth is, even when you do the boom, you shouldn't stop. So that's a little higher order way of doing things to really exert some sudden energy, but not to let that stop you. Did you see how I bounced back? It never stops. So that's like a fancy piano technique after you've conquered kind of the basic kind of thing, right? But whether you use a little fajin or whether you just sink and go on, either way is fine as long as you don't stop moving. So speed, sometimes changing your emphasis, and some of it is even this is hard when you're learning. You guys are moving past this stage, but part of it also is remembering, right? Oh, what comes next? And that can kind of stop you a little bit too. Which is why when you practice, particularly new material, don't practice the whole form. It's okay to do the whole form, yes, once or twice, but just practice those couple of bars of the music that you're working on right then. And just it's small enough that it's bite sized. So you can work on that and get this kind of smoothness in it. Because remember, what you want is that golden thread. From the first note to the last note, the music never stops. The emphasis changes, the tempo may change, but it never actually stops. And you want that feeling inside. You want to be aware of that feeling and cherish that feeling because that's what makes the music effective, I think. Okay, let's do the form at least once, if not twice. Let's start with Susan. Susan wanted from the beginning up until where we are, and if we have time, then we'll do round two.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
Okay, Susan, that was lovely. That was really nice.
Thank you. It felt good.
Good. I'm really glad to hear that. Susan was not afraid to slow down. That was slower than usual, probably 3 or 4 minutes, probably.
Mhm,
Um, it was lovely. There was a sense of consciousness throughout.
mm,
Now, sometimes it was stronger than other times, but that's what happens.
yeah.
This is a long concerto. When you get the whole thing, it's 25 minutes. That's
Mhm.
concerto length for most concertos. Not for Rachmaninoff, but for most concertos, it's 25 minutes.
15, yes.
About 28 minutes, right? Or 30 minutes. Um, but it was very, very nice. And I could also see Susan running into issues as she went through here. Places where she would, oh, well, I need to do this a little bit differently, et cetera, et cetera. So uh, there's a sense of working on the form as you're performing the form, which is what it should be. Exactly. Now, Ran is going to have trouble with this because Ran is more like me. Master Zhang used to yell at me all the time. Too fast, he'd say. Too fast, you too fast. And he was right. I didn't really understand it then, but he was right. I was moving too fast kind of habitually. Every time you do the form, it doesn't have to be the same. Some days it can be really slow, some days it can be really fast, most days it's kind of somewhere in between. Every day is different. The weather is different every day. And so your internal weather is different every day too. But, Ran, you are like me, all right? So I'm going to ask you to do the form now. We're going to go over time, 5 minutes or so, but that's okay. Do the form now, but deliberately do it a little slower. So Rand, for instance, Susan, while he was really following you and following your pace, he was having to stop and check up on you all the time because he was racing ahead a little bit, right? So Rand, slow it down. Shift the gear down into a lower gear and give it a try right from the beginning.
Okay, let's go.
Just go back to the last thing you remember. Rand, Rand, say something so the camera goes back on you.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, good. So the same commentary for what Rand was doing, right? Slower than he usually does it, although you may have noticed that he speeded up as the form went on. It was very common, almost everybody does that. Um, but try and be aware of it. Try whatever pace you set in the first section, try and maintain that through the whole thing. But everybody deals with that. I think there's a couple of things you can learn from paying attention like this. One is the speed with which you do the form is not really important. You can do it fast, you can do it slow. What matters is that you do it consciously. And what happens with everyone who is learning the form is you use a faster speed to skip over difficulties. Everyone does that, particularly difficulties with your balance. So you're doing some move that's a little challenging, a little challenging for your balance. So you do it a little faster to get past that part where it's a little more challenging. Everyone does that. Slowing down will force you to face that difficulty in the balance and work on it. And everyone, you can get it. It may take a little while, but eventually your body will understand what it is you want it to do. And one of the metaphors they use for the body in China in Tai Chi training is the horse. Horse in Chinese is ma, right? So it's a relationship. You don't just tell the horse what to do like you're the king of the world or something. It's a relationship. It's a respectful relationship back and forth, right? So you let the horse know what it is you want to do, and then you let the horse work on it and get to the place, right, where it can do the certain move that you want it to do. So it's more of a relationship than a tyrannical top-down kind of approach. Slowing down a little bit will bring to your attention those places where you need to work on things a little bit and smooth things out in a slower manner. And another thought, this could be the closing thought. If you like the martial aspect of this, if you like to pop it a little bit, right? You like to go fast. I absolutely guarantee you, if you want to go fast, then you need to practice slow. It's yin and yang. You don't get yang unless you've got the yin also. And so fast and slow go together. Anyway, from my point of view, it was much more pleasurable to watch you guys do this because both of you seem much more conscious in doing this. And as an audience, I appreciated that of the performers, right? So very good, guys. All right, you all have a great day, and we will see you next week. Ciao.